सीताराम राम राम जय जय राम जय जय राम सीताराम राम राम सीताराम राम राम जय जय राम जय जय राम सीताराम राम राम जय जय राम जय जय राम सीताराम राम राम
Are we going to do Hanuman Chalisa here, Pavanji? Somebody's asking me.
Say that again.
Are we going to do Hanuman Chalisa here? Somebody's
No,
asking me.
no.
No, no.
राम 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 जय जय राम जय जय राम सीताराम राम राम सीताराम 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 जय जय राम जय जय राम सीताराम राम राम सीताराम 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 राम जय जय राम जय जय राम सीताराम राम राम
Namaste, welcome. Hadisa, you joined in. Everybody is here. Let's begin with just 1 or 2 minutes of tuning in, observing our breath, observing our prana, actually. 1 or 2 minutes. And tuning in, invoking the presence of God. Namaste. Welcome to all of us in this beautiful satsang together. Sorry. It is so nice to have Lucky and Sonia ji back again. We just had a full 1 hour or more on the same topic in Hindi just now, and they're back again in English. And I'm also thinking that when you hear the same thing in Hindi and English, I also tend to get this opportunity to speak the same thing in Hindi and English. There are two different languages, two different neuronal network, two different understanding that emerges. And it's such a beautiful chance I personally get, and also all of us who are here, to look at it from two aspects or two ways. And then, of course, Akshay was also there. And then Hadisa and Nivaji, they couldn't join then, or however, and they are here. So this is our small, very small micro-size satsang, and therefore very beautiful and very precious. So we are in the previous satsang that is going on has been going on for a longer time, and we have covered a lot of topics in that sequence. In this satsang also we have covered it, but what happens here, maybe regularity, especially for Hadis and Nivaji, sometimes you are there, sometimes you are not there, also for Lucky. So you might find today's topic a little difficult to grasp, but for the sake of for the benefit of making it easier to grasp, we'll just make a quick revision of what we are doing and what we are up to, basically. So here we are on a journey from the selfie to the self. That's our journey. It's a journey from the outermost point of our personality to the innermost point of our being. That's our journey. How is it different? Well, all the other people who are not on this journey are on a journey from selfie to selfie, from my selfie to Soniaji's selfie to Lucky's selfie to Nivaji's selfie. Our selfies are interacting. Our social media posts are interacting. Our outermost personalities are interacting with the outermost personalities of others. Selfie to selfie. That's the normal standard journey. Inspired by something deeper, due to a deeper call, we have taken upon ourselves this journey of selfie to the self, from the outermost personality, outermost point of our personality, to the innermost point of our being. That's the journey. Now, in this journey, we have chosen certain tools, certain texts. We have chosen certain path, and the path is called Shripat, and that is the path of making ourselves Shreshta, better, the path of higher blossoming. That is the path. There are some, you'll say, is there another path? Yeah, there could be some other path of demolishing, of reduction. No, we are on a path of blossoming. It's an easy path. It's a standard path. It's a path well trodden by many sages and many practitioners like you and me, generations and generations of that over the last, say, 3,000 to 4,000 years. This path it got well defined in 2500 BC. So about 3,500 years from today. Am I right? No, sorry. I'm sorry. 500 BC. So 2,500 years ago, this path got defined, codified in form of Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. That is what we are taking as our core text so far. Just shortly after, we'll switch to other texts like the Bhagavad Gita. We have integrated all of that to make us arrive from selfie to the self. And the operating or the key goal is to get our mind as clean and clear, so that even from the selfie point, the self becomes visible. Because we have to see the self through the instrumentation of the mind. And the mind today is mucky, covered, disturbed. These are the three disturbances of the mind, or the three impurities of the mind. The mind is covered with some layers of ignorance and information. The mind is mucky with certain emotions and conditionings that don't allow clear visioning, that color our visioning. And the mind is also totally scattered, not merely distracted, but totally scattered. And from scattered to still, to distracted, to one-pointed, to the mastered mind, through these 5 layers of cleansing, we have to take our mind. So that's the goal, that we are here attempting to cleanse and clear our mind, as injuncted in the Chalisa, Nijman Mukur Sudhar, cleansing the mirror of my mind. And the tool for that is the dust, the pollen dust of the wisdom traditions that adorn our treasure chest. We take a pinch of that, and here we have taken the pinch from the Yoga Sutras. We arranged all the understanding in a model called the Sri Chakra. It's a model of a square with a circle with 24 petals inside it, and then 43 triangles interlacing each other with a dot at the center. We have understood the format of what it is, and we are currently understanding or working with the 24 petals. These petals are our behavioral impulses, expressions of our mind outward. And we have been working with that we have identified 24 distinct behavioral impulses. And we are wanting to harmonize that. They are in form of these petals. And we have said that harmonizing that leads us to the blossoming of the self, leads us to the liberation, to the freedom, not only from the cycles of life and death, that's too far, but even from the compulsions of our own bondages. We are totally bound by our conditioning, by our imprints. We think we are free. We are not. Whatever we do because social media says so, television says so, so-and-so star is carrying that bag, therefore I will go and buy that bag. And we say, I'm free to buy that bag because I have so many millions in my bank. But the fact is that the buying decision has been forced upon us, imprinted upon us, and we are bounded or bounded by that impression to go and buy that bag. So in cleansing each one of these petals, we not only get free for the future, but we also cleanse the suit that we gathered in doing the opposite of that petal for lifetimes. Example, non-hurt, ahimsa. So by practicing non-hurt, by cultivating a mind which doesn't have the impulse of hurting others, A, we begin to journey towards our freedom, but B, we also cleanse all the suit of hurt and the impressions created by those hurtful behavior that we have inflicted upon others during lifetimes, and this suit holds us down and keeps the petals closed. By cleansing, by nurturing it, the suit gets clear and the petals get blossomed, and we arrive into our own highest blossoming, our own highest personhood that only you can or I can, to my own highest being. Nobody else can do this for us. So that's our journey. We have seen so far 12 petals. I wonder if anyone will remember it, but I will revise it quickly. The 12 petals out of the 24 we have seen are the 5 don'ts called the yama. They are non-hurt, truthfulness, non-stealing, mastery of the or control of the senses, and non-hoarding. Not doing that, not hoarding. These are the 5 don'ts. And the 5 do's are the 5 niyamas, which are purity, external cleanliness, internal purity, purity or cleanliness in our environment, shaucha. The second one, santosh. It is commonly translated as contentness, contentment, but we have used the word, a new translation for that word called joyfulness, joy dash fullness. Nivaji was there during that conversation when we arrived at this word. So second is joy, and joy arising out of fullness. There is an enoughness, a wholeness, which doesn't seek or need anything more to make me complete. That doesn't mean that I will not go and get things of enjoyment, but I will get them not from a space of neediness, but from the space of joy and fulfillment, and yet enjoying or reveling in whatever good is available to be reveled in. Santosh. So shaucha, santosha, tapas. Tapas means intense practices. Here we have seen the intense practice is to be focused upon the distinction between the seer and the seen, the conscious seer, Atman, and the whole world, the entire creation as seen, including the body and the mind, which is under the observation of the seer, of the witnessing self. This dichotomous awareness that I'm aware of the conscious one, and I'm also aware of the unconscious who derives consciousness from me, the unconscious nature, are living but unconscious nature, which is temporary, which is passing. That practice, that is tapas, intense practice. Swadhyay, study of the self, by the self. Swadhyay, self-study. And then Ishwar Pranidhan, being in the presence, constant, unbroken presence of God. So these are the 5: Shauch, Santosh, Tapas, Swadhyay, Ishwar Pranidhan. These were the 5 do's, out of which the last 3, Tapa, Swadhyay, Ishwar Pranidhan, intense practices, Swadhyay, self-study, and being in the presence of God. These 3 constitute something known as Kriya Yoga, or the yoga, or the practice of action, or the practice of deeds, Kriya Yoga. It became very popular in the West, spearheaded by Yogananda Paramhansa, who is the author of the book, An Autobiography of a Yogi. It is as relevant and beautiful to be studied now also as it was then, and you might have heard about it. These 10 are the great vows. We have to follow them, non-negotiable, yama, niyama. Then we moved on to asana, the postures. Now, not the postures as we read in the books, yoga postures, not that, but the posture of the mind itself, and being seated comfortably and still. So asana got defined as being comfortably still. So when you sit for meditation, sit in such a position that you're very comfortable and you can stay like that for a couple of hours or couple of minutes, 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes. You can sit still in that position without moving. Find yourself that asana. Some asanas are recommended, practiced. There are methods to make yourself still, things like that. So asana is comfortable stillness, being comfortably still, even during the day, to practice that when you're sitting for work, or you are laying down or doing anything, to find how to minimize movement, how to move towards stillness, even at a physical level as well as at mental level. Comfortable stillness, to be able to look out and look at a tree and there may be a bird on it, just to be able to watch it comfortably and still. Then came pranayama, which meant taking control of the flow of the breath and making the breath longer. Ayama means to lengthen it. Inhalation, deep and long. Exhalation, even longer. And then in between, there is retention. But in our tradition, unless and until you have practiced smoothing of your breath flow for at least a year or two, we do not practice retention of the breath. So that was pranayama. So yama, niyama, asana, pranayama. These were the 4 limbs that we have covered so far out of the 8-limbed yoga. It is not an 8-fold yoga or 8-parted yoga. No, these are all limbs that make yoga whole. Without one of the limbs out, that yoga no longer remains yoga. Patanjali has recommended the 8-limbed yoga. Out of this, these 4 we have already covered. And within this 4, 5 yama, 5 niyama, and these 2, they make 12 petals covered out of 24. Today we enter on the 13th petal. Mind you, what we are going to discuss today is hardly discussed anywhere. If you were to Google and find out some videos on it, I haven't tried it. I'm speaking out of gumption. I hardly get to see. I don't
Never.
ever remember that I've seen a video
Never.
on Pratyahar.
Any video is not there. Any video, anything about this topic
Nothing.
is not there. Nothing is
Ah.
there. Very
It's an
true.
integral part of yoga. You're right. It's an
Yeah.
integral part of yoga, but no master, no teacher, nobody talks about it. And I was
No
saying,
practices about it. Even
no
no
practice,
practices
no
about
practice.
it. Nobody talks about it.
Nobody talks about it. And can you imagine that this is such a beautiful and integral, it's at the heart, it's at the center of the 8-fold path. And nobody talks about it because it is a little uncomfortable. But even if it is uncomfortable, it can lead you to the space of highest joy and stillness and peace. Number 1. Number 2, and it is the thin bridge that connects our mind into the next phase of the inner yoga of concentration, meditation, and samadhi. So the inner, what we call meditation, actually starts after you have crossed or mastered Pratyahar. If you have not mastered Pratyahar, what you're talking about meditation is probably mentation or imagination, sitting down, imagining a bright light going here and there. And now imagine how many meditation centers, how many meditation teachers, but they are only teaching imagination or some form of mentation, or you can even say imitation. You know how a yogi sits, so sit down like that, stiff, tight, neck straight, shoulders relaxed, back straight, sit down without blinking for 5-10 minutes, and you say, I've done my meditation, woof, I'm ready for the day. And then after that meditation, you jump up, and the first thing you look at is your mobile phone. It is as if God has granted you your wishes and has sent the OTP in the mobile phone. You need to look at it and tell God, this is the OTP number, please, to unlock your blessing. But we are not meditating at that in those 15 minutes or even 2 minutes. We have come to that point. Now, this particular flower or petal or the limb of yoga is called Pratyahar. Pratyahar. These are constituted of two words, prati and ahara. Ahara means to eat. Pratyahar means to be eaten. See how it is. It's a very strange word, pratyahar. Very little, very less used in in any text. Only in the yoga text, pratyahar is used, and it was coined by Patanjali. I don't think before that this word was ever used, and we'll look at it even more deeply. But the simple meaning of pratyahar, the definition of pratyahar, as given by Patanjali himself, he has defined the word pratyahar is to turn our senses back home towards the mind and make them dissolve in the mind so that they become the mind itself. Now, let us hear it once again. To turn the senses inward towards the mind and make the senses dissolve, come to rest in the mind itself, as if they are the senses which were consuming, eating all the stuff through the senses, all the sights, all the sounds, all the touch, all the smell. These senses which were consuming, eating, ahara, have turned back and come into a state of dissolution, opposite. They got consumed themselves, but not in a bad way. They have come to rest in the mind field and they become one with the mind field. For this, we need to understand that these senses arise out of the mind field. The senses arise out of the mind field and go outward. That is why they arise out of the mind field. They have to go outward, even for our survival for that matter. We need to see a tree, a fruit, a vegetable, to be able to go out there, pull it out, eat, then taste it. The tastes have to be outward. It has to come in contact with an object and then give us an information whether it is good, bad, desirable, not desirable. Is it a poison or it looks like a sweet fruit? We can have it. Similarly, to listen to the sounds from outside in, it is coming and processing. So all these senses, even the touch, the tactile sense, the smell, all these five senses go outward to the objects, to their respective objects. The skin will go towards touch, eyes will go towards objects that are illumined by light, ears will go towards sounds which are created by striking two things together. And similarly, nose will go towards smell and the tongue will go towards tasting. So that is natural. However, our use of these senses go beyond survival. And that's where problem happens. We begin to fill it with desires, and these senses run amok, trying to pick up more and more information so that we get more and more stimulated, so that we want more and more objects, more and more experiences, more and more people, more and more relationships, more and more places, actions to constantly stimulate us. And the mind is in this state. And in this state of mind, you cannot ever be able to see the shining self that you are or I am, the Atman, the shining self. We cannot see. So to get the mind calm, these senses have to be brought into rest, into the mind, and to create that restful mind, senses have to be brought back. Imagine the horses running outward. Those horses have to be turned inward and they will begin to come back and dissolve. Not dissolve, become one with the mind. Just walk into the mind and gone. Like suppose you were to make a horse of salt and put it in the ocean, it will be gone. In my book, in Living Hanuman, in one of the meditations, I have said, when you sit down in meditation, call your senses, say, come home, come home, come home. Now, come home is a word everybody understands. We have heard this word since childhood. Our parents would say, come home, Hadisa, come home, Lucky, come home, Niva. We have heard it, come home, Akshay. We have heard it. Our parents saying this, come home, come home. And when we grow up, then we say, welcome home. We hear that. Even today, we greet one another, close friends, families. They come in home. They say, welcome home, come home, come home. Is a word, it is sticking in our brain. The moment we command our senses come home, it knows it has to come back to it knows its home is in the mind field and not in the places of objects. So the senses turn around and come back. At the same time, come home is a mantra in Sanskrit. Can you imagine? Come. Come is the seed syllable of ananda, joy, happiness, joy, bliss. Yajurveda says, Om Kam Brahma. Come, the sound come is the sound of Brahman himself. And home. Home is the seed syllable of Shiva. It is also a seed syllable of Hanuman. So when you say come home, you're saying, oh Brahman, who is as Hanuman, I remember you. It is also a way to say that. So you can use this word in English exactly as a mantra. Right in the beginning, when you sit down, you relax, you bring your awareness to the breath. Come home, come home, come home. May they all come home, all the senses. And they get subtracted from the objects, or you can say abstracted. Abstraction of the senses from their objects is pratyahar. Abstraction of the senses from the objects, but not merely a forceful abstraction that you tie, just you close your eyes and now your senses are abstracted. No. When you close your eyes, you can still see in the mind. You will know that your pratyahar is practiced well only when even in the mind there are no mental images. There is no urge of the horse to run out. There is a story given in Bhagavad Mahapuran of a great sage who had a great power, a mystic power, that he would enter the river Yamuna, which flows next to Delhi. He would enter the river Yamuna and go deep inside and go sit there. He had great power of pranayama. So he had practiced till pranayama and he was wanting to practice pratyahar. So he said, if I go inside the river, I will see no object of desire. There is nothing that I desire which is found inside the river. So I will be very still and happy in my meditation. And he started doing that. He was a great sage. But then one day, when he opened his eyes inside the water, he saw a fish lover couple, making love. And by looking at them, the desire to make love arose in his mind. He immediately came out of the river, took permission of his guru, and went into Grihastha life. He became a householder. He got married. He wanted to exhaust that. He said, unless until I exhaust that, I cannot come back. It is going to disturb me. It is not about closing my eyes. My senses are still seeking that. So just by closing your eyes, pratyahar cannot happen. By forceful pulling the senses, if you just shut yourself in a room and there is interesting gossip happening in the other room, you'll try to listen through your ears, or you'll be in a hurry to finish your meditation so that you can join them. There will be a fear of missing out, FOMO, fear of missing out. And also quickly check your phone. So the OTP of granting your prayers have arrived here. We do that. Pratyahar. Okay. Some examples of Pratyahar as they have been given in the text. One example is, there are three very beautiful examples. One example is of a tortoise at a very basic level. A tortoise takes out its limbs and does the walking and eating and feeding and all that it needs to do. And then, having done that, withdraws the limbs inside the shell. Pratyahar, at the very basic level. At a subtler level, more subtle level. Another example has been given for the sun which has arrived in the third quarter of the day. So from sunrise to sunset are 4 quarters. 2 quarters before noon, 2 quarters after the noon. So when the sun has arrived into the third quarter of the day, it begins to withdraw its rays. It begins to become cooler until when it goes into the fourth quarter, it is already arriving into sunset time, and it is so easy to look at the sun. The sunset sun looks cool breeze blowing. It is a pleasant sight to see. There is no heat. It has withdrawn its rays, and then it will slowly vanish. You won't be able to see it. So also it is saying that the mind withdraws the senses just as the sun withdraws its rays. It's an example. It's not a exact scientific example, but it's an example of experience, how we experience sunlight. And the third example, here it is said of a king bee. There are no king bees, but in the text it is written as the king bee, but let's call it a queen bee. So just as the queen bee flies and all the bees fly behind her, and wherever the queen bee settles, all the bees comfortably settle around her in comfortable stillness, comfortably still around the queen bee, wherever it is. They don't need to be pulled one by one, or any practice has to be done, or a sound has to be created. It's natural. There's no force. It's natural that the queen bee, wherever it settles, all the bees will come and settle with that. Similarly, mind is the queen bee, and all the senses are the other bees with it. As the mind settles upon the central thought of God, all the senses will comfortably settle into that, around that thought. There will be no urge anymore of these senses to run and experience something for the sake of stimulation. For the sake of survival, of course, you will get up from your prayer, you will do your work, you have your duties, you may have your children, they have to be raised, you have a house, you have a work, you have a business, all that will have to be done. But there will be no urge or urgency from inside. There will be no disturbance. There will be no struggle in controlling the senses. The senses will automatically rise and go and do their job and again come back. They will be waiting, when can we finish all our work so that we can become a tortoise. And during the day, several times during the day, it may happen that you withdraw yourself, observing your breath and just being just being, just learning to be, just becoming a bee, etc., etc., etc. One of the practices in Pratyahar is to look at our responses to what is happening outside. And that is where the word responsibility comes from. How is your response? To take charge of your response, inner response to an external event. That is in your control. And the more responsible you are, the more qualified your responses are. At a lower level, you can make a mistake. At a lower level, you'll just, walk over, or you'll not do something, or you'll just take a day off if you have a headache. Because your response to your headache is only related to you. If you have a headache, you won't go to work. But at a higher level, if I don't go to work, so many other things will go wrong. So your response is beyond your own self. So higher your awareness, better the quality of your response, and taking response, making the responses of a higher quality, which flow through those 10 filters that we have already seen. The filters of non-hurt, of truth, of non-stealing, of mastery over senses, of non-hoarding, of cleanliness, of purity, of joyfulness, of intensity of practice, of study of the self, of being in the presence of God, of being comfortably still, of being in control of our flow of breath, which has been prolonged. And through these, the response will flow in a jiffy. Like AI, imagine AI does things like that. So it doesn't take so long. It is just a question of training ourselves that these are the filters my response have to pass through. And the response will learn to pass through this like that. Responses. The dropping of I and mine. I, me, mine. This ideation of I, me, mine has to be slowly let go of. This is also a process of pratyahar. Dropping of the fruits of action. That also is pratyahar. We are attached to the fruits of action. Example, I just posted a picture in Facebook, also as a WhatsApp status, of me holding the Indian flag with a book with my living Hanuman. It's a simple act. But in my mind, I'm thinking that this is like the most historical picture ever posted in the world. So there must be 1 million people liking it and writing about it. And I, like a unsettled rat, I'm running to this mobile phone, straight away going to Facebook. Immediately, I don't bother what is being posted in other people are posting. I straight go to my icon, click on that, straight go to the post and look there. How many people have liked it? How many comments? Oh, only 2 comments. My God, people are amazing. They are not liking my post anymore. Oh, 5 comments. Let me look at what is there. And they are just hi, all the best, or something type of that comment. Come on, what an important post I have made. And nobody is engaging in a conversation on what I've described, my nation and my wisdom tradition. I've made such a great, and I'm embracing them. Wow. And no one talks about that. Somebody's writing, oh, Pavan, good to see you. How have you been doing in these years? Someone has written there after many years. So can you imagine? What am I doing all the time? I am so attached to the karmfal, to the fruits of action, that I have to go in here again and again and again. And no pratyahar is possible with that.
If
Karamfal.
if I say it here on this, on your picture with that living Hanuman with the book, I mean, it is beautiful. It is a beautiful thought that has come to you, standing unity with for the freedom of freedom and integrity of our country, and also spiritual wisdom. Together, they're merging together. The living is together. I mean, I don't know how to say it. That wisdom is together. This is what I want to say. Spiritual wisdom, you have
Rightly.
merged exactly something like that has come out of it with the
But
book,
I
together
I
with the
did it
book, actually, what the book
together.
says.
So,
Yes.
okay, fine. So I did it. It's a karma. Now I'm attached with the fruit of that karma, and I have a certain expectation, and I'm going in there again, again, again. So if I don't give up my attachment to the fruit, where will pratyahar happen? That's why it is, I've listed it down as letting go of the fruits of action, karma phala. Letting go of I, me, mine has to be let go of. Let go and let God to end doership and allow God to be the doer. And all the 11 senses, the 5 organs of senses, the 5 sense organs, the 5 organs of action, plus the mind. These 10, these 11 have to be turned, have to be trained to be inward. These 11 are known as Ekadashi. Eka means 1, Dashi means 10. Ekadashi. And we do fast every Ekadashi, that is 11th day of the rising moon and the setting moon. And we even do a yajna every year. This year we are doing that every year, now for 5 years. This is the 5th year. So Ekadashi is not only the 11th day of the moon, but it is related to this 11 indriyas, these 11 organs of senses, sense perception, and the organs of action, and the mind to be turned inward. In one word, the 11, the team of 11 have to be cultured to come inward. Especially the speech. We speak more than necessary. We have to reduce that. We have to get rid of our attachments. We have to check where we are attached, and our addictions. Big addiction. Each one of us are addicted, and it is almost to the level of a disease. It's a pathology. We are so addicted. We have to look at this and the attachment. Where does our mind go? Wherever you find your mind is going again and again, that is where there is an attachment in the sense of I, me, mine, and the outcome of the fruits. We are attached there. So we need to work and let go of that. There is also a practice of Pratyahar along with pranayam, moving our awareness from the tip of the toe to the top of our head. There are these 24 points in between. Someday when there is a chance, we can, that's a practice of Pratyahar. Also, the Shri Mantra that we chant amongst ourselves, I do not know whether Hadisa or Akshar, they know it, but there is a method to chant that. There is an inner method of the Shri Mantra. When you do that in that way, if your mind goes anywhere, the mantra will drop. You won't be able to chant it. So you'll become woken up that, oh, Pratyahar is gone. Start again. Start again. Start again. Start again. But when you chant a mantra on a mala like this, the mind can be anywhere else. Kabir says, a great poet, a saint, Kabir. You might have heard his name, Hadisa, sometimes maybe, I don't know. Kabir. He says that the mala turns in your hands and the tongue in your mouth and the mind all over the world. This is not japa. This is not remembrance. Mala is going on here, tongue is going on in the mouth, mind all over the world. So Pratyahar is without the mala, without the tongue, and the mind right in the center. Those practices. What is the fruit of practicing this? What will happen if you practice this? This particular sutra, which is 255, in the second part of Yoga Sutra, the 55th verse. I gave all these references so that you may sometimes find time to go check it. That sutra says, and this is the last sutra of the sadhan part. The second part of Patanjali Yoga Sutra comes to an end here. Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi, the other petals are discussed in the next part. They become the inner practices. Until Pratyahar is all considered outer practices. They're all, you can take control of it. There's something to do that will give you a certain control, or there's some processes to be applied. Beyond this, it becomes even more subtle. The journey becomes very subtle. So the fruit of practicing Pratyahar is complete mastery over the senses. After this, no other practice to master your senses is necessary. Then, cleansing the mind from gross dirt. Mind has two levels of dirt: gross dirt, subtle dirt. Pratyahar cleans it, gross cleaning happens. That's a big deal. The mind gets so much lighter, clearer, cleaner. Subtle dirt will take a little bit more time to work it out. Pratyahar grants us devotion, love for God, Brahmagyan, knowledge of the self, a feel of the self. Today we don't have the feel of a self. It deepens our japa, and it makes us stabilize in ourself. When I say today we don't have a sense of self, imagine, Hadisa, if I asked you to think of an elephant. You will think of an elephant. You'll close your eyes. A big elephant will arise with his trunk and ears and doing that. No problem. Or a whale. When you're thinking of an elephant, you won't get an image of an ant coming in your mind or a horse. You will not get anything which the elephant is not getting in your mind. But imagine if I tell you to think of your own self. Think of yourself as capital. You'll immediately start imagining your face, your hairstyle, your gender, your mother tongue. I'm a woman, I'm a businesswoman, this, that. This is how you'll think about yourself. But you are none of them. None of them. Then our mind is not trained. We can think of an elephant, but we can't think of ourselves because our mind is not trained. Our mind has no idea, has no contact, has no feel for ourselves. We have never closed our eyes and felt ourselves. Osho was a great philosopher. If you sometimes might have heard his name, Osho. He says, take a big sheet of paper. Lovely thing he said. Take a big sheet of paper and write about yourself everything there. So you will write Hadisa, she will write Sonia Bhatia, a woman, so-and-so age, so many kids, so many grandchildren, a house, owner of a house, or so many sisters, this, that. I'm a businesswoman, I'm in Canada, I'm a restaurateur in Missouri, whatever. And then I'm a very good woman and I'm a very angry woman and this and that. Write all of that. And this person this to me, that person did that to me. Write all of that, all your experiences. And I'm mostly sad or mostly happy, whatever. On a sheet of paper, write all about yourself. Now Lucky has joined. So Lucky Yadav, doctor, businesswoman, Indian, I'm a woman. So many people hurt me. So many people loved me and love me. All that write on a sheet of paper. Then Osho says, imagine if it was painted white now, clean. Will you still exist? That's the question. Will you still be without all that? Yes, you'll be. You were there even before you were named Hadisa. Imagine when your name was not Hadisa. Were you not? When you're not a Canadian citizen, when you're not a businesswoman, were you not? You were. So that Atman has to be felt. That is where we are arriving. We are arriving, or we tend to arrive, or this journey takes us to where we already are. Can you imagine? I am wanting to arrive to myself. What kind of a journey is this? I already am. I am where I am already. And I'm wanting to arrive from selfie to the self. I'll arrive where I already am. That's the journey. But how simple, but how subtle. It's as if there are two congruent spaces. One is the space of the self with capital S, and the other is the space of the self, of myself, in which the identity-driven world exists. And both are absolutely congruent. Thank you to Stephen Hawking, who gave us the idea in his last book. He's written about multiverses. He has scientifically proved that these two universes stay together. There are wormholes in between, and you can slip from one reality to the other. But thanks to him that he established that. But gratitude to our sages who already spoke of three spaces. Bhutakash. Akash means space. Bhutakash, the akasha, the space of elements, the physical world. Chittakash, the space of the mind. And Chidakash, the space of consciousness. Bhutakash, Chittakash, Chidakash, all these three spaces are congruent. And you do not know, you're staying here and you're working out in this space. Here in Pratyahar, we move in from Bhutakash to Chittakash, from Chittakash to Chidakash. That's the subtle journey, and we enter into another space of immortality, of eternality, that we say that Mrityor Mokshya Ma Mritat. Don't take me off from immortality. That's our prayer. And that takes us away from our own little self to our own highest, largest, most expanded, most inclusive self. You know, for people who are self-centered, like practical people who live in the world, self-centered, working out of this consciousness, whatever there is less. If they have got youth, it is less. Youth is less. Only in few years, youth is over. If they have got energy, energy is also falling less. If they have wealth, that also is little. It's not enough. You become a millionaire, there is a billionaire. Now, even billions are not enough because there is a trillionaire sitting on top of the pyramid. It is less. A billionaire is a mere beggar in front of any billionaire. The difference between a billionaire and Elon Musk is that between, in India, of course, especially, you sitting inside the car and the guy begging like this. That's the difference. So for these billionaires, little ones, 100 billion, 80 billion, 166 billion, they're all beggars. It is less. Somebody gets into power, that is also less. For people who are self-centered, for those who are bhogis, we call them. But for yogis, whatever they have is much more than enough. They don't even need what they have. They are totally in a space of abundance, total abundance. They don't need anything more. And whatever life they have, it's good enough to do what they want to do, and they have come here to do. It's enough to serve. They have enough to serve, enough to comfort. Bahujan Hitaya, Bahujan Sukhaya, to give comfort to the many, to give joy to the many, to bring joy to the many. This life is enough. Enough to self-realize, enough to carry on the journey, enough to be happy. Forget about anything. Whatever you have is enough to be happy, to be grateful, to be appreciative. So, on that note, I conclude my bit of monologue on Pratyahar, which is the inwardness of the senses or withdrawal of the senses. But I would much rather say turning the senses inward. Pratyahar. Over to all of you. Does it make sense?
Yeah, of course, Pavanji. The only practice that is going to help us for Pratyahar is going to be japa, is it?
Pranayam.
Pranayam.
Japa is
You
much before pranayam.
japa. Ha.
Pranayam.
Pranayam.
Subtler and subtler
Pranayam is
practice
before
of
japa.
pranayam.
Pranayam is before japa, of course.
After japa.
After japa is pranayam. Okay.
In the
And
sequence, you have already seen
hmm,
Swadhyay is part of the 5 niyama. After that
hmm,
comes Swadhyay, Ishwar Pranidhan, then Asan, then Pranayam. Pranayam is much ahead.
hmm.
Pratyahar is an extension of Pranayam. When you do Pranayam, when you do this breath work, and not breath work is a bad translation, the
Hmm,
life force work, if I may say, then you
hmm,
slip or you flow into Pratyahar. But it is not
hmm,
only during that practice that you have to do Pratyahar, it has to be,
hmm.
it's a all day awareness of training the senses to come home, to come home, to come home.
We are always doing something or the other, right? And every day there has to be cleansing of the mind, cleansing of, you have to be into that awareness of satya, asatya, soch, everything, everything. But the cleansing of the mind has to be there all the time. Now, once this practice, this practice is like for every minute, every time, every time. So where it is going to end us with? I mean to say is, are we not going towards sannyas? Like we have our desires going flat. We are not desiring for anything.
Yes.
We are not desiring, we are not looking at people, we are not looking at anybody, we are not responding, we are not responsive to anything that is happening to us.
Yes.
So we are going towards sannyas in this.
Yes. We are going towards a space which is still, quiet, beautiful, which is full of ananda and bliss on its own. But
Hmm.
we are going towards our glass of wine and a movie only because we want to stimulate our senses so that out of that stimulation, some serotonin will be produced and we get a sense of some happiness. But
Yeah,
imagine if you arrive
time,
into a space which you are
time.
always in that state and your responses are better, that you are able to give your life not only for your mere pleasures, that is what our media and our society has trained us to be, but for the benefit of all, for the comfort of all, and for your own highest blossoming. Imagine a state in which your horses are not running out and you are only a slave to those horses. Today, somebody will advertise this new picture has movie has come. Immediately, mind will say, we have to watch that movie. In that movie, I will eat popcorn and Pepsi Cola because Pepsi has advertised that no movie is complete without popcorn, which comes for free, or
Bapu,
Pepsi, which comes
yes,
free.
okay. Yesterday I was seeing one. Something just came. Adat. I mean, it's in my habit that I always watch a little bit of these reels before I sleep. So Bapu was saying, that once you die and when you go back, Murari Bapu, Bhavan is going to ask you, "Bhai, I gave you such a beautiful world. What have you done? I mean, you've just come like that without enjoying the world." So that is also not done. Yes, you enjoy the world, but get into your control your senses and control of everything, whatever.
For now,
This is what.
ignore that. If you are on this path, ignore the you have enjoyed enough. Enough has been enjoyed. Now is the time to get the horses get back home and
Oh yes.
get to the source of
So this is
enjoyment.
what, Napanji, there is an age for everything actually. Now for Lucky, these are young, young girls. These are, they're all growing up, Akshay. So
Yes.
they
So
have
what
to
has
be
happened?
into that worldly matters to grow, to,
Yes, true.
to be
Exactly.
successful. We have
True.
lived,
Absolutely.
suppose. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But
Yeah.
worldly matter, that is where the balance aspect of balance comes. What has happened
Yes.
is, because of the media and because of the society we live in, we are trained to think that when we are little, that we should hog pizzas and burgers and ice creams, and that is enjoyment. Green color ice creams, cakes which are blue in color. No mother is thinking that where is that blue tartarine coming from? What's the chemical composition, and what will happen to the little girl whose birthday you are celebrating with her dog, which is blue, black, brown, all those colors, they are all colors. But you'll say, this is a little child, she's supposed to or he's supposed to eat all of this. But this is the madness of a few set of people who are driving marketing engines. Lucky knows it very well. Digital media. They are driving it right from the beginning when TV came in, advertising came in. We are mimicking people who are very rich. Whatever they do, if I also do, I will also become happy. That's what our thinking has become. Please remember, Yoga Sutra, all these Pratyahar, etc., were taught to young kids, 10 to 20-year-old. After this, they used to graduate and go into their families. They would go into their families and become the best lovers. They were taught Kama Sutra before Yoga Sutra. They became the best lovers. They became the best parents. They became the best members of society. They created the best masterpieces that we have ever seen. Today, even with computer, we cannot create masterpieces like the temples of Konark, etc. So these were not taught to sannyasis, and this was not meant for sannyas, not in the least. We have to understand that this is a culturing of the mind, that the mind and the senses are in full mastered control of the individual, so that today what has happened, when you are eating, you are looking at a mobile phone. When you are eating, you are thinking of the movie. When you are in the movie, you are thinking of what dinner you will have. When you are having dinner, you are thinking of which dress you will buy. When you go to the dress shop, you are thinking of the mail that you did not answer. All the time, our mind has been cultivated in such a bad way that it is never where it is supposed to be. So you are never in a place with your body, mind, and soul. Therefore, you are not able to enjoy a glass of fruit juice, for example. Swami Veda said you can achieve nirvana through a glass of orange juice, provided your mind and your senses and your atman and your body is all together in the same place at the same time. But we have not been cultured like that. This is an ancient wisdom. We are getting it at this age. We should not be afraid that we will not be able to enjoy a movie or anything better. We will be able to enjoy it even more because our senses will be within us. When you're watching a movie, you'll be watching a movie. Nowadays, what has happened? You're watching a movie and then you're talking to each other. Everybody is doing that in a hall. And they will say, this movie, wait and see, the next movie of this guy is coming. It is far beyond this. Already he is thinking of another movie or another movie. When you go and watch a sunset, all of us are aware of it. You watch a sunset, somebody will say, this sunset, come with me. Goa sunset, have you ever seen? Or have you seen Bali? Oh my God, Bali sunset is to die for. A sun is setting right in front of you. Miracle is happening. Your eyes are able to see it. Birds are flying. Ocean wave, breeze is there. Everything is there. You're thinking of Bali and you're not able to enjoy this. And this you say is young age. Now young people will now decide to go to Bali to watch a sunset. Forget it. They're not able to watch the sunset from their own homes. They have not been trained to watch a sunrise. Sunrise is meant for old people. What young people are we talking about? No young man or a girl has ever seen a sunrise. How it feels, how it looks, how it becomes white. So with Pratyahar, you are being invited to get into a state of mastery of your senses. the famous story of senses being horses, that there was this man who was riding a horse and he was thrown off the back of the horse. So he was just somehow clinging to that horse. Another rider was going back, said, "Brother, where are you going?" He said, "Don't ask me, ask the horse." That is our condition. Ask the horse. That the tongue can take us to eat pizza in the restaurant, or the eyes can draw us to see a movie in a hall. We don't know what will happen. We are not in control. It's our eyes, it's our tongue, it is our tactile sensations or the ears which will take us to wherever it has to. And we think that going to all these places is freedom and enjoyment. And therefore, we are not able to withdraw our senses to the present moment and be with the person in front of us. We are not able to have a conversation for 1 hour or half. Here we are all sitting together talking, but normally it is so difficult to be able to do this. So it is not to scare young people, but to prepare them to enjoy even more deeply. Ten Tyakten Bhunjita, the injunction of the first Upanishad, the first mantra of the first Upanishad is indulge, not enjoy. Indulge into all the things in this world that has been made for your enjoyment. Taking that to be the leftover of God. Ishavasyamidam sarvam yat kinchit jagatyam jagat, that the whole world is full of Isha, is the dwelling place of Isha. Isha means God, is fragrant by the presence of God. That part we miss. Young people should not know that. Young people should only indulge. How will it work? You have to look at what Bapu is saying in the context of the whole katha that he might be speaking, that this is only a part of it. How to enjoy? We don't know how to enjoy. If there is no enjoy, there will be no enjoy. Enjoyment will only be sensual sensations. Stimulation of the tongue for some time. After that stimulation goes, again you would say, time for coffee. Now time for coffee, have something else with it. Then again something, then again something.
You've explained it so well now. This is what was very important for everyone to know, that how it means to be indulging and still
I
enjoying the
hope
world.
Akshay is not scared now of Pratyahar. Come, Akshay, beta.
I am really scared of present world. I am not scared what I'm learning here. My Instagram is already gone like 3 weeks back. I
Huh?
deleted that already.
Very good. Look at him.
I'm just doing Facebook right now because of the business. I have to put discounts and sale and all that. But for that also, I'm just going to make a page for a business which I can only operate it from the store itself and not nothing in my phone.
Fantastic. But you will need Insta also for that. People are going to
Uh-huh.
Insta, not to Facebook anymore.
Yeah, I will make Insta for the store from, so
Store.
it is
Very
only
good.
from the, I can only manage it from the store's computer. So which is not in the,
Fantastic. Perfect.
so
Look at him.
yeah, I think I'm trying to do it fast, but I don't have time and I'm just going with the flow right now.
Very good.
I don't want
Very,
to
very
I
good.
don't want to change everything in one time because my accommodation, store
Yes.
and everything. So
Yes.
once
Very
it is
good.
changed, I'm trying to take leave on Saturday in the morning time.
Very, very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. It is early morning for him. Of course, Hadisa knows that you're in the same time zone. And
When Pavanji
she's also.
started practicing, and I'm sure there was no Instagram, there was no Facebook, nothing. There was hardly there were phones, only the landlines. There were not even mobile phones, and still things went so well, so well, so well. He is
Yes.
so well connected to people. When we
Yes.
started a small place in Masuri, that small restaurant, very small, there was nothing. People hardly used to come and go back. So there was no Instagram, there was nothing. It is just a hype that the world is going for. You
Yes.
actually don't.
Yes.
Your store has to do well. You have to give good service. That is what people need. Your love
Yeah.
and service is all that is
Yes, that
needed.
advice I will also I will also get it from him again. One day I want to sit and have a chat with him, like, how to
Yes. How
connect
he
with
started.
people. Yeah.
Yes, connect
Yes.
with
I
people.
do connect
Yes.
with people, but yeah, everybody appreciates what I do and all that. But the place where I am, just give me a second.
No problem.
Hello.
Fantastic. Yes, Hadisa.
Um, as you were talking about this, I was just thinking, like, a lot of times I feel like all the distractions that, I mean, they are distracting. The distractions from ourselves and our attention really is a currency. So instead of using that currency for ourselves and our own missions, I mean, if there's a reason why we're here, instead of using it for ourselves, when we're giving it to other people, that's just going away. So for me, at this point in my life, like, I was such an extrovert. I was always out. There was not a single day that I was at home. I would finish work, I would call one of my friends, and I didn't like to have dinner by myself or in front of a TV. So I would call one of my friends, have dinner, and like just constantly surrounded by people. And now I'm at a point in my life where I can barely be around a lot of other people for more than an hour. I can go socialize for 1 hour with selected people, and then I'm like, okay, I have to go be by myself. But really, what I've discovered is that I'm just trying to constantly like, I feel like
Yes.
because those doors were not opened or taught us how to open as a child, so now I have to try to like try harder with an axe to try to get through to it, right? To find what is internal. So this
Yes.
really stood out for me today.
How beautiful. Look. And I tell you what, we are ancient travelers. We have all been traveling together, lifetimes together.
Yeah.
Right now, it is just a placeholder, and we get to remember some things that we have already practiced, and it
Mhm.
resonates. In this lifetime, uh, such memory comes back, and you feel more peace um, being by yourself. And that is such a beautiful, big, beautiful sign that you are coming home.
And
You
it's
are, you are
also
getting
something else
home.
like there's such a, you mentioned about how like meditation is just like not with a japa and like it's because like I find it harder to like concentrate when I have a mala in my hand and I'm saying things out loud. But really, I like if I'm doing a mantra, I like to just like take it internally and like take it up and down with my breath. But then when you're listening to a lot of like gurus, they're like, no, you have to do so many malas and you have to say it out loud. But for me, it takes me out of my element, right? So I'm always constantly torn. And then sometimes I'm like, okay, why am I even listening if this feels more deeper for me?
Yes.
But then other people are like, no, that like you have to do it like this because you got to move up. So like sometimes if you just sit by yourself, maybe your system is wired a different way. But other people will always, I feel like, try to move you away from what your own intentions are unless you are listening to somebody who is on the same wavelength as you. So most of
Yes.
this stuff is just trying to confuse us out there. So really hard
Yes.
to find what is truly aligned.
Yes. Hadisa, they are also right. Those are very beginning baby steps. But what they're doing is they're going one component by component without giving the full picture.
Mm-hmm.
Of the full picture, japa is one part of it. It's
Mm-hmm.
not the only part that you have to pick up a mala and start doing that, but do what with that? And where will you end up with that?
Yeah.
People hardly understand that by japa, you concentrate your mind, but concentrate what? If there is dirt in your mind, the dirt will get concentrated. You'll become angrier, more greedy, more jealous, more aggressive. It is not necessarily, or sometimes more depressed by doing that. You need to have a full background of where you are coming and what are you wanting to do through that japa. Yes, some people are doing japa for their personal desires that they have to get a better life or a better job. It's all okay, or for a better health, or sometimes they just don't want to bother to learn anything else. They just want something to do for some time every day to just feel good. What japa they're doing, what has been given to them, who knows?
But
but
I
but
feel like we've been robbed of this knowledge. Like this is knowledge that people would have had, but I don't know when it got lost. But like I feel like maybe before, like everybody was taught this and they just knew, or like at least within a lineage, within their own family, they tell you. But now I feel like by going to school,
Yes, yes.
we don't even know how to receive that knowledge most of the time unless you really are around somebody where that knowledge has been passed. So it's become
Yes,
really hard to
yes.
go within.
I'm totally with you. I have the same feeling. Even today, I mentioned in passing, I wish I understood Pratyahar the way I am today sharing with you. If I understood this a long time ago, I would have given more focus on that. But some kind of understanding comes much later. In fact, I want to use a very repulsive, repulsive analogy for Pratyahar. Ahar means to eat, Pratyahar means to vomit. Okay. Now see, the moment I use the word vomit, we get repulsed. It is dirty. It's, suppose somebody says, eat your vomit. These are, because last time we were doing, there is one of, in one of the sessions, we said, it is like dog eating his own, licking his own vomit. That's the example. It's such a disgusting sort of given. But imagine, all vomits are not bad. Give me an example. Can you think of an example that a
I mean,
vomit, huh?
I'm just thinking of words. Words themselves are like vomit. I mean,
No,
like
no, no, no. I'm talking of physical, literal vomit.
Like when you've had food poisoning and you're just getting rid of the
No,
toxins.
no, no. I'm talking of a vomit, which is not bad, Food poisoning vomit is even worse. You can't eat it.
where you vomit
Okay.
something, but you want to actually take it back in.
No, no, no. I'll tell
When
you.
we do jalniti, is it that? Is it that when we do?
I'm talking of vomiting. Jalniti is not vomit.
Just when we take it out, the whole water when we drink and we
Think.
take it out.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you.
That is what it is.
Think.
Yes.
And this meaning has not been given in any text in any of the 30 commentaries that I have read so far. But Pratyahar, literal meaning of Pratyahar is vomit. But nobody is touching Pratyahar as a vomit. They're touching Pratyahar as withdrawal. Opposite of, then use the word withdrawal. Why use Pratyahar? Think of it. Think of a bee. A bee first takes nectar, eats the nectar.
And the honey.
Then vomits out honey. It transforms what it has received from different flowers,
Honey.
turns it into a homogeneous, nurturing, nectar-like element, and vomits it. That can be used as medicine or food or whatever for the bees, of course, and also for any other animal, or including human beings who may eat it. Now look at our senses. They're eating something out and they're also vomiting inside. But what is the quality of that vomit? Is that quality a nectar? Is it nurturing, nourishing me, allowing me to grow and blossom into my highest self? Or is it a repulsive vomit that I want to clean up and go and drink some more again of that, whatever it is? Because see, I'll tell you, the essential quality of the nectar will be determined, essential quality of the honey, the vomit, will be determined by what has been ingested. So if the bee, therefore the bee flies in the same domain as the flies. The flies will sit on shit, on dirt. The bees will keep on going around till they find a flower, then they will settle down on that. Or they will fly away. So are my senses so trained that they will sit on flowers, gather nectar, and come back and vomit it out? Vomiting means already what I have gathered, I have contemplated, and now I'm vomiting for assimilation. Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasam. Intake, contemplation, and absorption. So Pratyahar also can be understood that now when my senses will go, they will go by choice. They will sit on flowers, come back home, nectar, filled with nectar, and then they will process it and give me the experience. What is honey? Honey is the experiential feeling level essence of what we are getting. So it will give me honey, which will satiate me and make me more restful and better and healed. If I'm getting a vomit of a shit inside my head, I'll become more restless, more anxious, more scared, more wanting, more shaky like that. If I'm getting honey, which is nurturing, nourishing, I'll feel more safe, more secure, more settled, more comfortably still, more joyful, all of these qualities will begin to show up. And it will show that my senses have rested on flowers and not on shit heaps. Pratyahar, vomit. To harmonize, to master, or to master the art, or to master the process of vomiting of the senses back into the mind. That one.
Thank you. That was a great explanation.
So now we'll be watchful on what my mind is going to sit.
That's an
Because it
excellent
will sure,
explanation. Yes.
it will
Sure.
come and vomit.
Thank you.
You take your eyes, sit on the Instagram, no problem. But what in Instagram are you sitting on? It will pick it up and it will throw it back into the mind as a vomit. It would have processed it. It will get attached with all your sort of longings and all your attachments and conditionings. And it will come and throw it into dump it into your mind. Now the mind will again send the senses, go look for it more. And that is what Insta algorithm is. Once you look at something, it knows mind will look for it more. They will begin to come in your feed again and again. So again and again, it will go back and feed the mind with the same stuff. That will throw the senses back again to look for it more. And the cycle just goes spiraling up. We have taken a lot of time. All have been patient. Nevaji, we haven't heard your voice so far. So just say anything. Just say, I love you.
I love you. That's it.
I love
Only
you.
silence,
We love
silence,
you.
We love you.
silence. I was in my mind, there was a song coming then. You know, the Anandamahi Karunamahi. That was because that Pratyahar and just Anand, radiance.
It is a journey to the source of bliss, basically, which is what it is. Fantastic. We stay
Thank
together
you.
and we connect again.